Hello, it's me, Daniel Rustage. I'm back again with another breakdown, a lyrical breakdown. This time I'm doing this rap battle. I'm going to start doing these on Fridays, like coming out about an hour after the songs come out. Some of them will be a little bit more in-depth than others. Obviously, if there's a featured artist, I can't expect to have them. It doesn't really fit in the schedule to have them be on the breakdown every single time, but I will do my best. With this, it's a little bit different because even though there's a featured artist who wrote most of his own stuff, we did a lot of brainstorming beforehand, so I could still probably talk about the things that he did and etc. etc. And obviously I'll explain all my point of view and the thought process behind this. This is the Madara versus Aizen rap battle, which is an idea I had for a while. I originally wanted to do Madara versus Frieza, but then over time, I realized that Madara versus Aizen is just a lot better. I think I even did a poll about a year ago where I did Madara versus Aizen or Madara versus Frieza, and Madara versus Aizen won out quite conclusively. So we went to Madara versus Aizen, and Dizzy 8 is the Aizen guy. He likes Bleach a lot, so we obviously got Mr. Dizzy 8 to be Aizen on this track. Just as like a reintroduction for anyone, I think I've done a couple for these rap battles before, but I'd like to re-explain the process behind this. When you write rap battles, we do them a lot differently. We Discord call with each other first. I've done this with everyone. And we create a Google document, and we create a list of things you can insult about one of the characters, in this case Madara, and things you can insult about another character, in this case Aizen, and also things that they can brag about themselves, and then comparisons and things that we sort of brainstorm. It's just like general brainstorming. And in this brainstorming process, we could even sometimes think of individual lines and such. And then I write the first verse, send it to them. They write the second verse, send it back. I write the third verse, send it to them, and then they write the fourth verse, send it back, and then we all record it. And that's just kind of how we do it, so we can still refer to each other's verses and things that we've said in each other's verses. And we don't record anything really until the end. Sometimes I might record something so they can get an idea of how it kind of flows in general. Like when I did Killua versus Sasuke with None Like Joshua, I recorded some of my parts because then None Like Joshua understood. None Like Joshua, I think, only sung in a couple of his Sasuke parts because I did a little bit of singing in some of my Killua parts, so he kind of matched that style. But yeah, that's how we generally do these rap battles, and they're a lot of fun. They're a very different way of writing than writing regular verses, because you're more focused around the punchlines than you are focused around like flow and lyricism and rhyme schemes and stuff. Like there are like flow change. There are like various flow changes and rhyme scheme things in this, but it's not as complex as like a regular track would be, if that makes sense. Anyway, let's just jump into it. Obviously, as always, the videos are edited by the wonderful Biscuit Skeet Teal. You can check out their channel in the description, as well as Dizzy 8's. They do an incredible job every single time, and yeah, it was incredible, and the video is incredible for it. Let's go through. Instrumentally, I obviously created the instrumental, create all my own instrumentals. I wanted to go with something kind of evil sounding, an evil sounding instrumental, because they're both evil characters. And I decided to have this like solemn piano, and there's a choir that comes in later. And I don't know, it just kind of fits both of these characters.
Think you're unbeatable, nah. Head in the clouds like Adobe.
To be fair, this is more set up for the rhyme. I think Adobe rhymes really well with Shinobi when it comes up. But head in the clouds like Adobe because of the Adobe cloud is the line. But Adobe does not really... That's a bar you could say against anyone. It's not Aizen specific. It is a cool bar, but it's not Aizen specific. But it's a setup for the next thing. Here's the thing about Madara and Aizen is they both have god complexes in one way or another. And I think it's also one of the struggles. I want to talk, sorry that a side tangent immediately, but I want to talk about one of the struggles with rap battles is that we make sure to have rap battles between characters that are very similar, like Bakugo and Vegeta are both hot-headed, arrogant, angry boys, so they would go against each other. Madara versus Aizen are both aloof, god complex, they plan out everything, like endgame villains, so they would go against each other. And that's what makes the matchups good, but it does mean that in the rap battle itself, Madara can't insult Aizen on things related to to that, like Madara can't insult Aizen for being too laid back, I guess, when they're both like that. It was more present in Bakugo versus Vegeta. Bakugo and Vegeta could not insult each other in being hot-headed because they are both hot-headed. It would be hypocritical for them to do so in just a really like blatant way, which is why in the end of that rap battle we had them say a bunch of those things together at the same time, and it makes it Escanor versus All Might's another good example. It makes it sometimes difficult to come up with certain bars because you have to remember that they're not just an insult against Aizen, they're still coming from Madara, and Madara can't insult certain things that he would actually take pride in. That makes sense. But in this case, both of them have a god complex, but if you have a god complex, then you don't like other people with god complexes, because how can they be a god if I'm a god? So clearly Madara is going to open up by saying, think you're well, you see a second.
You like to say you're a god, but you don't compare to the god of Shinobi.
You like to say you're a god, but you don't compare to the god of Shinobi. It's not like a huge bar, but I think it's a strong opener to kind of set the stage for Madara. You can't compare to me. I'm the god.
When your motives is a bad guy.
Hollow in your motives of a bad guy. He's pretty much saying, Aizen, your motive's garbage. And the reason why he's saying this is because Madara has his whole Tsukunomi plot. He actually has this like through line with his motivations. He has the whole thing with the Senju clan and his backstory, and he feels like Madara comparatively has kind of weak motivations.
How much of you faster than the sales of your franchise?
It's no secret that Bleach dropped off in sales in the latter half of its run, so I wanted to make fun of Bleach alongside Aizen here, so I'ma drop you faster than the sales of your franchise. Pretty self-explanatory.
Bitch can't even kill me because I'm rising from the dead.
Can't even kill me, I'm rising from the dead. Edo Tensei. Can't take him down, just come back. And you don't even know how to use your Bankai. So when doing a lot of research, and I also wanted to say that Tekking 101 was my consultant for a lot of Aizen related stuff, because even though I've read a decent amount of Bleach, I don't know it as well as I know something like Naruto or One Piece or other shows and stuff, and Tekking is really into Bleach. And looking through Aizen's wiki and stuff, I noticed that he has all of these abilities, but he never actually uses his Bankai. He never uses a Bankai ability, and I find that quite funny because it's in Bleach. It's like if you don't know how to use your Bankai, you're a shitty Soul Reaper. So I like that as just an insult. You don't even know how to use your Bankai.
I know how to use your Bankai. Dropping these fats, so I'm dropping these meteors.
Dropping these fats, so I'm dropping these meteors. You had to mention that Madara has big old meteors. He drops them. That's an impressive feat.
Just call up a Sparta, they want a new leader.
Call up a Sparta, they want a new leader. These are just sort of kind of simple shots saying against Aizen's posse, saying that he's an incompetent leader. Madara is a competent leader, and they want
Madara. You look like a substitute teacher.
I love this line. You look like a substitute teacher, because Aizen with his little stupid little glasses and his like brown hair, he just looks like a substitute teacher. And I also like this because a lot of people say that I look like a substitute teacher when they're like insulting me and stuff. So it's just nice to call a fictional character that, take the heat off me for a little bit. But it sets up for the next bar.
Teacher, I guess it makes sense you'd be beat by a substitute reaper.
He was beat by Ichigo, and Ichigo is not even a full Soul Reaper. He's only a substitute Soul Reaper. So you look like a substitute teacher. It makes sense you'd be beat by a substitute Reaper. And the rhyme's good. Reaper and teacher, it works well.
I heard a bigger hole through your chest than
yeah, Gin puts a hole through your chest, easy.
When I spit flames like I'm a Tarasu.
Gotta talk about Madara's spitting flames.
Claiming you planned everything from the start, so Aizen, you plan out this loss too.
That's one of my favorite lines. Like, Aizen plans everything from the start. It's like kind of a meme where he's like, this is all according to my plan I set in motion years and years ago. So Madara's saying, you planned everything from the start, so if that's the case, you must have planned this loss, already claiming that he has won from the first verse, which I think is beautifully cocky for Madara, and I think it's great. Now we go into Dizzy, who does such a great job as Aizen. Let's take a listen.
You really want to box with a god till you end up in a box at the god.
You want to box with a god till you end up in a box like a coffin sent to God is so good.
I see through your facade. You claim you got hands, that's a lie. Then you catch the fade from my god.
Claims he's strong. And I remember when me and Dizzy were talking, and we were like, yeah, didn't he just get beat up by Mike Guy? And that's a good point, because my guy just uses Genjutsu, which he was weaker in this form, but Aizen he just uses a sword, innit? So Aizen in that sort of matchup would probably do decently well.
When it comes to a villain, you're incompetent. How you died and come back just
To die again. So that takes the Edo Tensei bar that I said in my thing, where if I die, I come back, where he says, you died from Edo Tensei, and then you literally just come back again. Which I think is hilarious.
Taking L after L after.
Sorry, you died from Edo, you die, you literally come back again, and then you die again. Sorry, I said that right in my head, but I said it wrong with my mouth.
L must be tiring. You was better off just retiring. We in two different.
I love Dizzy's ad-libs, and Biscuit's done a really good job here of just like adding Aizen popping up to do the little ad-libs like this. It's hilarious.
We in two different tiers. The difference between me and you is you're a puppet, me I'm the puppeteer.
They both have this kind of like, I control everything from the background. So Aizen is just saying, I control you.
Thought that he won, so guess who? That's just how I made it appear.
Yeah, and this is going back to how Aizen plans out everything. Aizen will make it appear like he has won. He makes it appear like someone else has won, but then actually he's won, right? So Madara getting cocky at the end of the first line where Madara says, like, you plan out this loss too, Madara's already assumed he's won, but Aizen's like, if you think that you've won, that's literally just because I tricked you into thinking that you've won. Because I've won.
Anything you can do that can harm me. I came for a battle, but you got nothing for me. I ain't gotta kill you because your man did it for me, stupid.
And I love this stupid. So, yeah, we had to get this out of the way. It's one of the most shameful things about Madara is that he just got killed by Zetsu, pierced through the heart. And I love the little stupid there. Aizen doesn't even need to kill him because Zetsu just did it. One of the most controversial things in Naruto.
Stupid.
I'ma bring a beast to a sword fight. Aizen, but no foresight.
So this first bit is Madara obviously brings the 10-tailed beast to the sword fight. You know, you bring a gun to a sword fight, don't bring a sword to a gun fight. Obviously, Bleach, they all use swords, but Madara brings the 10-tailed beast to a sword fight, which is a play on that phrase. Aizen, but no foresight. Dude's called Aizen, but he has no foresight because he decided to fight with Madara. And not only that, but also he has no foresight because he lost eventually against Ichigo and such.
Of course you would be bad at rapping, cause
Looking at you, man, you're all white. The moment I saw this form, so this is my line. The moment I saw this form, Aizen's form where he's all white, I was like, well, there's a bar there. Of course you would be bad at rapping because looking at you, man, you're all white. Because stereotypically white people are bad at rapping, right? And I remember saying, telling this line to Dizzy, and he was like, you could say that because you're white. I'm like, you probably could say that too. But yeah, it's also very funny to me because Dizzy's not white and I'm he's playing a white and I'm saying this line to someone who isn't actually white. It's just because we're playing these fictional characters, and I find that quite funny as well, the sort of irony of that. But it's a fun bar, and I hope people like that bar.
its ears need bleach with these rap shows.
Bleach, the name of the show. Gotta bleach your ears because the raps are shit.
Drop it, lay you to rest
In your own black coffin. Teching like that line.
own black coffin. I say the best while the dude stops walking. That chain makes sense because you fight like Hawking.
If you guys don't know, Stephen Hawking is that scientist, man. Everyone know. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone knows Stephen Hawking, but if you're a child watching this and you don't know Stephen Hawking, I can't remember the exact condition that he has, but he can't move anything except for a small part of his face, and he talks through the little computer thing, and he's permanently in a wheelchair, and Aizen is permanently in a chair, which Madara is implying is like a wheelchair, and it's appropriate because Madara is so bad at fighting, he fights like someone who can't move, can only move the muscles in their eyes and face.
Your final fusion is drawn by a 5-year-old.
This is funny to me because I remember looking up the image of this, and my first thought was, that looks shit. It looks like it's drawn by a 5-year-old. I was like, oh wait, I can just use that as a bar. So there you go. Your final fusion is drawn by a 5-year-old.
You were outsmarted by Urahara.
I probably got the pronunciation wrong. I actually knew that it wouldn't be stressed that way, but I just needed to do it for the rhyme. I apologize for any Bleach fans that I mixed up Urahara's. It's probably Urahara, right? I said Urahara because it works better for the rhyme. But Aizen builds up the fact that he's super smart and he can't be outsmarted, but Urahara outsmarted him. So
Hurrah, coming to villains gets limbo is useless just
Madara's ability. I gotta give a shout out to Lyndon, VA, who there's a few people that I actually hit up for help with these rap battles that can just come up with insults. Tekking is one of them because he doesn't come up with the insults, but he gives me a lot of information. But Lyndon, this time I hit up, and he came up with that limbo bar because the Madara ability limbo, but he's saying it's useless for me to use limbo because you've literally lowered the bar for villains, which means you've set the standards low by you being a terrible villain, and limbo is that one thing where you do the little dance underneath a bar. It's a very clever bar, and Lyndon's very good at writing these one-off, like, very clever bars. He just doesn't do any rap stuff himself. But there's a shout out for him. I'm not just going to steal that and not give him credit for that.
look at how badly you lowered the bar.
It also goes to show that these rap battles are really like a team effort, right? And as much as I've been explaining the bar, like some of Dizzy 8's stuff has been stuff that I suggested, and some of my stuff has been things that he suggested. Like the rap battles are purely a cohesive thing, which is why it frustrates me when people say like, oh, Schwabity won this rap battle in Bakugo vs. Vegeta or something like that, where they'll be like, oh, Daddy Fatsnaps won, oh, Rustage won. Because that's not, even though we wrote our own lyrics, like most of the points that we're making, we came up together. And you could say the character won, like you could say either Madara or Aizen, but this isn't a rap battle between me and Dizzy 8, it's a rap battle between Madara and Aizen. So you wouldn't watch the epic rap battles of history and say, oh, Epic Lloyd won that rap battle. You would say, no, whatever character Epic Lloyd played that time won. Hannibal Lecter or something like that. But it happens weirdly a lot.
We got the Renegade.
I had to mention here the Renegon. I realized at this point that I haven't mentioned a lot of things that Madara could do, so...
When you're breaking down, you better run. The power is Genjutsu, we learned that as kids.
So Aizen's ability to make things seem one way when they don't is just like basic Genjutsu that they learn in Ninja Academy as children. And, you know, it make the point of bringing that up, being like, yo, your power is Genjutsu. That's like basic shit for ninjas.
It's Aizen, why don't you shut the fuck up? I thought you were used to taking the fifth.
This is quite a good line. I think this is quite clever. So, Aizen, why don't you shut the fuck up? Because Aizen just talks too much about his own plans and stuff. So he's just like, shut up, man. Just shut up. But I thought you were used to taking the fifth because Aizen took the 5th division over in the Soul Society, so he's taking the 5th. But taking the 5th in American courtroom things is, you know, a vow of silence. It's taking the 5th is your right to not testify. So it's essentially in layman's terms, taking the 5th in court is your right to shut the fuck up. So I thought it was a clever bar, and clever enough that I have it as the end for the second verse. But I know it's not going to hit with everyone because it's you need to think about it just a little bit longer. Like it's not, you know, it's not overly complex. I'm not saying most people are going to get it, but it's not going to hit you immediately like some of the other bars are.
He got the Renegon, now he thinking that he flawless. I look into his eyes, all I see is two
This is so clever because the Renegon looks like targets. I just see 2 targets.
targets. I'm immortal. Death is something that he is flawed with. Being me or the plot, this clown dies regardless.
Being me or the plot, the clown dies regardless. Pretty self-explanatory. He's just firing off on all shots. And I want to say this actually. I tend to secretly have who I think won a rap battle. And in my opinion, I think Dizzy did such a good job with Aizen here that I think Aizen probably wins this one. I would obviously, I think I have to watch it and listen to it more, but I just think he just does some incredible stuff here.
See, overconfident, and I really find that amusing. Haven't seen my podcast because you never push.
He also just takes all the insults that Madara uses. I struggle a little bit with this, but he took the Bankai insult for the first verse and just says, you haven't seen me use my Bankai because I've not been pushed far enough by you to use it. I always dig myself into a little bit of a hole because I always have the first verse where I can't rebuttal anything. And I don't really even rebuttal that much of the second verse as much. I'm not so great at the rebuttaling, but a lot of the people that I work with are a lot better at me for it, and I really appreciate that. Everyone always brings their own thing, but everyone always knocks it out the park in these rap battles. Because a lot of them don't actually make this sort of content, they just make their own raps. And so I always have a little bit of nervousness whenever I get a new person for these rap battles to be like, oh, do you think they'll be able to do it, correctly? But they always do, and they always knock it out of the park, and most of the time do better than I do. And it just goes to show how incredible all of these different artists are. And yeah, Dizzy does a great job.
Use it, this is not a fair fight. What you seeing is an illusion. His powers inside his eyes, and he plan to how I maneuver. I'm a beast.
Call me numero uno. This bit's so good.
What is a Madara? I am a king. You cannot compete when you
lose your life to a follower. Just the same thing with the Zetsu again.
A hard body put a chick in his arm, and a hard body put him down when I wanted that. Hollow make him hollow, now he a goner. Play with me, I sing you straight to Azuna.
Bow. Azuna's obviously his brother who got killed by the Senju clan. I mean, it's a pretty, bringing up dead relatives. It's quite a tried and true staple. We had the Naruto parents. We had Kakashi with Rin. We just have them all the time. I did it against All Might with his mentor. If there's an anime character who has a dead relative, they're going to be brought up in one way or another. Tanjiro versus Ichigo, that's going to happen eventually. You know for a fact that I actually even think I've already written the line where I say, you can't save this battle when you couldn't save your own mother or something like that. I might have that might not be the line, but I think that might be a little better than what I have. Something along those lines. But it's a strong ending, and I think I really like that build up, and the video is really good for that because it's going into his form and stuff. But there we go. That's Madara versus Aizen. Rap battle. Great. Well, this outro is on for, I think that's about the right amount of time. It might be a little bit too long, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed these breakdowns. This is quite a long one. I don't know how long these are going to be in the future, but as my lyrics get a little bit more and more complex, I feel like I'm improving lyrically going into the future. These breakdowns, I think, will be a little bit more interesting to watch going forwards. So I will be doing them. I will be continuing to do them. Next week is the Warlords Cypher thing, and I can't really break down anyone else's verses, but I will be watching it, and I will be giving my thoughts on everyone's verses, because I think that will be good. I'll just do that as a reaction breakdown. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this. Yeah, I think this is a lot of fun. Thank you. Again, I'm trying to upload daily on this channel. Just trying to experiment with it, upload whatever I want. Going to be doing more reviews. I'm going to be doing some top 10s. Going to be doing the reactions and these breakdowns, and obviously the One Piece D&D podcast and the Monster Trio podcast. You got a lot, basically just an endless stream of Rustage content coming right to your eyeballs. So if you hate my face, I'm so sorry. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.